Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Falcor Killing Things in Titan Quest. It's a pretty lazy Sunday today. You know, I wasn't originally gonna make videos every day, but the thing is, I can't help myself. As I've said before, this is the only time I get to play Titan Quest, and I love the game, and I have nothing better to do. We've got, as of now, 43 subscribers. I can't believe how lucky I am that I think two of those people are two of my subscribers are people I don't know, and everybody else are, family and friends. As you can see, I have a close-knit group. Um, I'm hoping that I can make more subscribers and make this channel into what it's meant to be, which is a platform to change people's lives, make them better, make them powerful. But I mean, who the hell are we kidding? That's the Megaran Coast, by the way. Who are we kidding? We're gonna see where it goes. I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun, and hopefully we're gonna have a day where I can get a goddamn blue, another goddamn blue, so that we can make our guy stronger. I realized the reason that we're progressing so slowly, in fact, is actually because we're super weak. So this game progresses much faster when you've got good gear. So if anyone's curious, like, why the hell is it taking so long? That's the reason. Like, this isn't good. But anyway, I'm gonna stop complaining. We're just gonna see how far and how fast we go. Eventually, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna talk about, but I'm just gonna let my instincts kick in, and we'll see. This shouldn't be so hard. These guys here, turtles, like, you saw how I shield bashed it, and that's relatively strong, but like, there are, look, a normal attack, that's how much damage it does to it. So this is gonna be one of those episodes, I guess. This is the McGowan Coast. It took us like 3 episodes to get here. If you think about it, look. This game has Greece, and the original game has 2 other regions, which I'm not gonna say. Each one of them has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 locations. So this game can be very long or very short, depending on your gear, basically, and how quick, how fast you put the gameplay speed. Subject of today is basically, we're going to continue the story where I left off. That, they had just let me into the hospital, and that we were waiting for a diagnosis. And then I'm going to take a short break from depressing cancer talk and talk more about funny stuff, I guess, or funnier stuff that happened in my life, and stuff that I think relates really well to what's happening around the world today, especially in America. You might have heard of this. It has to do with racism. Yeah, it's a hot topic nowadays. But not today. Today I'm going to talk about what happened afterwards. So, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Look at these throwing weapon people. So, I'm in the hospital, and they're doing the tests. And they put me in a room at first that had no windows. So I have no idea how much time passed. From what I understand, I just lay there for 3 days just resting. And on the second day, a doctor comes in, and he's like, "Hey, little buddy, what's up?" And like, he was really sweet, treating me like I was a little kid, which is exactly what I needed. I needed someone to explain things to me, like I'm 4, basically, because it's a big deal. Like, and I'm no scientist. I don't know what's going on. So he comes in. He's super cool, and he's like, "Hey, so you might have heard. I talked to one of the doctors, and she told me that she told you what we think it's gonna be." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Listen, like, I've been doing this a long time, and it's that, okay? And don't quote me on this. He said, don't quote me on this. But the only reason I'm here right now is to prepare you for the news, because this, you know, this can be pretty traumatizing. Some people handle it better than others. And I'm like, fair enough, pal. That sounds good. But I think I can handle it. And he's like, okay, listen. So you've got leukemia. We don't know what type it is. We have to do tests to see if it's acute or chronic, if it's lymphoblastic or the other one, I don't remember, something with something with M. We have to see if you're Philadelphia positive or negative, which is another thing. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I know it's better to be Philadelphia negative, but as I said, I'm no scientist. I don't know exactly what it means. But the doctor said we have to see if that's a thing or not, you know, so fingers crossed. I'm like, okay, I'm crossing my fingers. And he's like, okay, this is going to be at least 6 months of battle, of fighting. No, actually, he didn't say that yet. No. He said, you know, it's potentially lethal. This disease is potentially lethal. I'm sure you know about that. And what he failed to tell me actually is, first of all, how long it's going to take to, you know, get cured, because he didn't tell me that there's a cure. The guy failed to mention that leukemia is technically curable, like with that, like, oof, crap, with that cheat that I told you last episode, which is like, technically it's not curing it, because, you know, we don't have a cure for cancer, but leukemia can be sort of like run around with a transplant. So he didn't tell me that. So the first thing I thought when he told me the news, and like, you know, we kind of knew that it's that. Literally the first phrase that came to my head was, "Looks like I'm punching out early." And that's what I thought. I'm like, oh, it looks like I'm one of those people. I'm punching out early. And I just remember really well, he was talking about like, okay, you know, what you're probably gonna have to go through, you know, chemo, possibly a transplant, which I had no idea what it was anyway. So like, I didn't know a transplant could cure it or anything like that. And he's like, most likely, you know, if it's bad, you're gonna have to do some radiation therapy. Again, I had no idea what radiation therapy was. I had an idea from movies, but like, let's be real, no one really knows until you're going through that, you know? So, and all of this was like, I wasn't really paying attention. But I wasn't panicking either, and I'll tell you why. And this is the first life lesson I learned from this entire ordeal. And I think it's a huge deal. So, okay. This is my life, basically. This is what happened. They tell you you could die, and that this thing is if you don't kill it, it's gonna kill you, right? And two things happen to you. One, you know how they say your whole life flashes before your eyes when you're told something like this, or when you're about to die or something like that? It's not exactly your whole life. In my experience, what happens is you see every decision that led you to that exact point. I mean, starting from when you're a little kid, taking craps in diapers, to when you're a full-grown man, you know, trying to start a business, and I don't know, you make a decision to partner up with someone, or you make a decision to quit your job, whatever. Every decision you make, every person you've hurt, every person you've helped, you sort of see a really, really quick summary of all these decisions. I guess it's like instinct, like your mind is trying to understand what you did wrong maybe, and trying to readapt and see, you know, this is what I should have done, and so next time I should not do this again. But like, technically, you know, it's it, like you're done. At least I thought I was done. So Yeah, I see it like my life decisions happen, and I didn't feel any panic. Now, why didn't I feel any panic? Because these were my decisions. I came to a conclusion while this guy was telling me that, I had cancer. Uh, I came to the conclusion that even though I didn't get to do all the things I wanted to do, what I did do was my decision. So I didn't live someone else's life. I didn't go to university because someone else told me to do it. I didn't, I don't know, break up with someone because someone else said it was a better idea. I didn't quit my job uh, because it was better because I don't know, someone told me that there's something else. Or no, I did everything because I wanted to do it. And just the thought that I had control over my life until now, and I made the decisions, and I made all the mistakes I made, and every victory and every defeat was thanks to me. I think that calmed me down to the bone. And even though I was going through something, like in the moment I thought it was like permanent, like you're done, I did not feel any panic at all. I didn't feel any regret. I didn't feel any like, oh, I've wasted my life. What have I done? Because although, I'm not the most successful guy in the world, far from it, at least it was my decision, everything I did. And luckily, when I was a kid, and I was already the kind of guy that, thought for himself, and like, if you're going to tell me to do something, explain to me why it's better so that I can make the decision to do it or not. And I made many enemies like this. It had an effect on my relationship with my family. Some people didn't understand why I wasn't taking advice, and it wasn't that I wasn't taking advice. It was that I wanted to make my own decision about my life. So this sort of mentality psychologically saved me, because when the guy told me the news that I had cancer, leukemia, and I took it like I'm gonna die, I didn't panic. And so that might be one things that I feel like I actually nailed in life. So I'm gonna, like, I wanted to talk about this as a subject later, but like, just, sort of like a preview, I would say, if there's anything at all that you learn from these videos, it's if you're waiting for the moment to be happy, if you're saying, after this job, I'm gonna be happy, or if I just make this money, I'm gonna finally be happy, which is exactly what they teach you in school nowadays. So I don't blame you, but happiness is now. Like, don't wait. Go out there and do it. Like, make mistakes. Like, I think it's been calculated that for every every 9 failures, especially in this world of finance and economics, and just, the rat race of trying to survive and make money, out of 9 mistakes you make, that one victory usually makes up for all of those mistakes. Now, of course, it's hard to put a price on experience, but generally speaking, successful people are willing to fail 9 times out of 10 just for that one victory, because that one victory sets them up for life. And for if you apply that to if you apply that to happiness, I think taking risks, but not just taking risks, doing what you want to do, and not living someone else's life, and not just living off of what someone else wants you to do with your life, I think that's one of the keys to happiness. And at least to me, in this experience, this particular experience, it was what kept me from eating my own mind. It was what kept me from completely losing it when someone told me that I was gonna die. Well, he didn't say that, but that's what I thought. So yeah, that's like the life lesson of I'd say one of the major life lessons I learned from this whole ordeal, and it came instantly, like first few days. Already I was a changed man. And of course, imagine, like now I'm more and more convinced. That's why I'm taking things way more like slowly and taking it more easily. Like of course I don't have a job now, like, and with the whole pandemic thing, it's just, I mean, what can you do really? But, well, you can do many things, but you know what I mean, with my situation. But I'm having a blast making videos, and maybe this leads to something. But the point is that I'm calmer now, and there's a time and a place for everything. So just be patient. And so anyway, the doctor tells me all this stuff, and I'm like, hey doctor, listen, could you explain to me like I'm a Labrador, what is leukemia? And obviously, don't take my word for it, because I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor person. I'm just a farmer. But and I'm not even a real farmer. I just studied farming. But basically, this is what I understood, what was happening to me at least. So you've got three main. We're in Megara, by the way. There are three main kinds of blood vessels, of blood cells in your veins and in your arteries. There's red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. I think that's what they're called. Plaquetas in Spanish. The red blood cells are the ones that transport oxygen around the body and keep your brain fed with oxygen, so you don't die. So those are really important. Then you've got the white blood cells, which are basically your little fighters in your blood that protect you, and they're your main line of defense. And then you've got the platelets, which are responsible for blood clotting. So for example, we're going to increase the volume a little. So what does this mean? So you've got three kinds of blood cells. Sorry, so distracted. Three kinds of blood cells, but they're all made in the bone marrow. Now, the bone marrow, what it does is it produces a cell which later matures and differentiates into these three kinds of blood cells. There are obviously other cells, but like these are the main ones. So what was happening is, this disease of mine, this cancer, what it does is it alters the cells, the progenitor cells, let's call them, like the cells that later become the different kinds of blood cells, and alters them in a way that doesn't let them mature. What this means is they stay a sort of like immature form, which is doing nothing. So for example, it's like, the way I see it is kind of like a moon cell that does nothing. Like, it should be changing into a red blood cell or a white blood cell, but instead it stays a teenager loser that doesn't do anything with his life. That's how I see it. And he and just stays like that, doing nothing. And so what happens is, because more and more of my bone marrow becomes infected, less and less of the cells in my blood are actually doing anything. And when they extracted blood from me originally, that was the problem, that my blood was completely full of these immature cells that did nothing. That's why my heart had to pump extra, and that's why I technically had no immune system for a while, it's a miracle that I survived, because, come on, I'm living in the city. How the hell did I not get a disease in all that time? So that's crazy. Oh, and naturally, I had no idea, but if I would have cut myself in all of this ordeal, my blood wouldn't have been able to coagulate, so it wouldn't have clotted properly, and I could have bled out, you know. So if I fell off my bed, for example, I could have had internal bleeding and died. I'm telling you, like, I don't know how I survived this long. And so the doctor's like explaining this to me, and he's like, listen, like, by now your blood, I'm not going to tell you what percentage it is, and he didn't tell me, he refused to tell me, but a big percentage of your blood is just crap, basically. It's nothing. It's just, the way he described it, it's kind of disgusting, is your blood's basically blood sausage. Like, it's just nothing, you know. It's like, it's filled with nothing, with crap. And I'm like, oh, and that's why you had to give me blood. And he's like, yeah, because you had nothing in there. And that's why I felt so good when they gave me the blood. That's why I got super high. And we got plenty of time. We're doing good. So yeah, so he tells me this, and he explains it to me slowly, like I'm a Labrador, and I was really thankful. And I tell, oh crap, this guy's really strong. And I tell him, I'm like, okay, so, you know, what can we do? And he's like, well, I mean, there's treatment. I mean, we're gonna do things. We're not gonna just stay here and wait for you to die. So, and I'm like, well, I mean, I guess I don't want to like put my parents into debt if I'm just gonna die. And he's like, well, you're not gonna get into debt. Don't worry. Like, the health insurance should cover it. You know, you're gonna be fine. In that sense, but he still didn't tell me that this was that this was curable. So of course, you know, my girlfriend comes over, my family, and my mom almost cries, but she doesn't. This is gonna take fucking forever. I might just ignore this guy. Yeah, we don't have the weapon for this. I'm sorry, Falcor. We're gonna go back and kill him another day. So a couple of my friends appear. I have no idea who told them. Maybe my girlfriend, I don't know. But basically, first my parents come. My dad nearly has a heart attack. Then my big brother comes, because I have two brothers. My big brother lives in Argentina. My little brother lives in Amsterdam. So my big brother comes, and he's strong too. So he's just there, like, holding back tears. And my girlfriend comes, and they give us the room, and you know, I'm still thinking I'm gonna die, so, but I'm calm, you know, like I didn't have any panic or anything like that, but I was already like, I gotta start thinking about how I leave my affairs. So I did what I thought any man would do in this situation, which is, I told Tina, my girlfriend, I told her, I'm like, listen, Tina, like, you might have heard, but I have cancer. So since I'm gonna die, I think the best thing we should do is break up. And this is my logic. This is why I thought this was a good idea. I was like, Tina, listen, I don't want you to be a widow. I don't want you to be like those girls in those movies where like the boyfriend dies and they become traumatized. So the best thing we can do is break up, so you don't become one of those people, and you know, like, you can move on with your life and find someone who loves you and all that. And my girlfriend is from a place called Corrientes, right? Tough land. Only the strongest survive. Only Falcors survive in Corrientes. So, ooh, nearly died there. So, what do you think her reaction was? Like, A, she's like, okay, you're right. Yes, this is very logical. B, she's like, no, I love you. We're gonna stay together forever and we're gonna fight this. Or B, she beat the crap out of me. If your answer was C, the third option, which is that she beat the crap out of me right there in the middle of the hospital, me, a cancer patient, that's the correct answer. She did. She actually beat the crap out of me right then and there. She said, you effing idiot. What do you think? I'm just gonna abandon you? What are you, stupid? And I'm like, but god damn it, Tina, this is what's happening and this is how it's gonna be. And she's like, who the hell do you think you are telling me what to do? And that's just that you see, this is the thing with my relationship. We're both so stubborn and so goddamn proud that we can't make anything romantic. No, we have to make everything extra retarded. So she beat the crap out of me right there. And that's the day I fell in love with her for like the millionth time. So she's like, listen, all you have to do is not die. She was completely serious. She's like, all you have to do, idiot, is not die. And I'm like, trying to fight her. I'm like, fine, I'm not gonna die, fine. Just to spite her. Like, I don't, like, come on, let's be logical. Like, I thought I was gonna die, but I just wanted to go against her. So I'm like, fine, whatever. I'm not gonna die then. And she's like, yeah, okay, good. And I'm like, god damn it, she won again. She always wins. She wins every argument. And I just thought, how lucky am I as a person? This is gonna be a long episode. Sorry guys, I'm so sorry, but we have to like finish this. So yeah, she beat the crap out of me, and we talked a little, and she didn't tell me. She knew information that I didn't know. She knew it was curable because she's smart. She's got a big brain. I didn't know this, and she didn't tell me either. So I didn't know that this could be cured. I still thought I was gonna punch out early. So yeah, so she made a huge mistake too in not telling me. So that makes it unfair advantage. Damn it, this is the hardest Titan Quest game I've ever played in my life. What the hell? What the hell? God damn it. So yeah, that's one of the most beautiful things that happened to me in this whole thing. Absolutely. When I'm not a perfect guy. I've made many mistakes in my life. I've been a bad friend. I've been a bad son. I've spilled the blood of my fellow man. I've gotten into fights. I've gotten into trouble. But sometimes I think I did this one thing right. Like, if I can get a girl like her. Damn it. I know I did one thing right, But anyway, God damn it. Pretty emotional episode today again. Didn't expect feelings to appear in the middle of a goddamn dungeon. But well, that's Titan Quest, I guess. It brings out the feelings. Speaking of which, by the way, speaking of like nostalgia and I guess feelings, I found out that a cousin of mine played Titan Quest when he was a kid. Because this game, I think, came out in 2008. It's really old. And he's like, I have really good memories playing Titan Quest. And I'm like, oh my god, we're such boomers. But it was really nice to see someone play this game. And I've got 2 friends that bought the game already. And my plan is to add a 3rd friend who's already had the game. And we're gonna try to get a multiplayer game going. What I'm worried about is that maybe we might have to start a new game from scratch. Like you can import the character, I'm sure, but I think you start off where you usually, like the starting area, the starting zone of Titan Quest. I don't know if you remember the little village place. If that's the case, we're gonna catch up. So I'm gonna start the multiplayer game, catch up to where we are, and continue from there on. And I'm gonna see if I can synchronize it with what we're playing with as single player. But I'll try to solve it as best as I can. Because I mean, what's the point of starting from freaking village there? That's just stupid. But yeah, that was basically just what I wanted to talk about today, which was that amazing moment with my girl that beat me up, and an explanation of what exactly the disease is, which is like, it's a very basic summary, but that's basically what happened, and it explains all the symptoms and everything. And we're already in 30 minutes. This is going to be one of those 40-minute episodes. But oh, and I asked the doctor, I'm like, what's the cause? Like, what did I do to deserve this? No, I didn't say that, but I said, what exactly happened? Like, what do you think causes this? And the guy, he's like, listen to me. You got hit by lightning, man. And I'm like, really? Like, there's no cause? And he's like, there's like a million things that like could, you could be genetically what's the word? You could have like you could be genetically sort of with a higher chance genetically of getting this disease, or maybe not. Maybe you inhaled some kind of spray that has carcinogenic effects. Maybe you're stressed. You were so stressed for so long that it lowered your immune system and your marrow got weaker for some reason. He's like, there's no freaking reason. Like, that's just cancer in general. Like, some people get it, some people don't. He's like, do you work a lot on the farm? I'm like, no, actually I don't. And he's like, because sometimes chemicals that you use for agriculture can be carcinogenic. And I'm like, well, I'm not exposed to any of those. And he's like, well, do you smoke cigarettes? And I'm like, well, yeah, because I used to smoke. And he's like, well, and particularly for this kind of cancer, cigarettes aren't really one of the leading causes. So, but maybe it was that, So what I'm saying is, I got hit by lightning, just like the guy said. It's not something that like I kept doing in my life, a habit of mine that led to it. It's just and I got unlucky. But in a way, I consider myself super duper lucky. But let me tell you why. Because thank God it was me. Crap. I'm not even going to talk about it. But if it were anybody else, I don't know. I would have lost my shit. So I'm lucky. I was strong and I was in my prime, and I could handle it, and I had the support, and I had the strength, and I did it, and thank God it was me. Crap. So yeah, and we pulled through, and we got through it, and God damn it, I've never felt more alive in my life. So, motivational video here. Be like Falcor. No matter what happens, no matter how many things attack you, if it's freaking zombies or arachnids or whatever, you just pull through, get a better weapon, shield bash the crap out of everything, and if you can't be strong, then be brave. That's all. That's all. That's all Jesus asks of you. If you can't be strong, if you can't be patient, if you can't, if you feel like you can't pull through anymore and you don't have any support, just be brave. That's all you have to do. Damn, I got pretty motivational there. Next episode, I'm gonna take a break from talking about diseases. Because I have a feeling that if you listen to too much of this crap, you're going to get depressed or worse, paranoid. And that's the last thing I want. So next time I'm going to talk about my experience with racism. Because I have a pretty warped view on racism. Some people might take offense. But what happens is, basically, I grew up in international schools. And since my first school ever was an international school, So I was exposed to practically every race you can imagine since I was a little kid. And so I don't know, like, I know it's cliche as hell, but like, I just don't give, how do I explain this? I make fun of every race that there is in the world, and I have no regrets. And hopefully you won't get offended tomorrow when I talk about it. But every race is hilarious to me. Whether you're white, black, or whatever you want, they're all hilarious. We're killing the Cyclops, by the way. This guy, he's very strong. What you got to do is like try to you gotta make sure he does his little trick. Come on, do your trick. There, and then you attack him. You see, this is one of those guys that is actually not that hard to kill when you've got weapons. Actually, crap. What do we need for this? Oh, cool. Let's see if this... Okay, I think we got weaker, actually. Oh no, we can't even use it yet. Damn it. Well, this is a freaking failure of a... This is gonna take forever. Oh my god. Well, we might be able to pull this up. I'm not leaving until I've killed this guy. Sorry, guys. God damn it. No, we're gonna stop it here. Next episode, we're just gonna rush and kill this Cyclops. Anyway. Hope you liked this episode. It's kind of long. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about the length. But we talked about some pretty heavy stuff, and you got to see me get emotional again. And the sound, by the way, I'm sorry about the sound. I have no idea why. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think it has to do with the program I'm using for recording, OBS Studios. Could be having some interference with the microphone or something. But yeah, that was episode 5. I'm gonna upload it today, and I really hope you enjoyed it. All right, it's good to be alive, guys. See you next video. Bye bye.